This poem was written by Les Barker, an English poet, and who's tons of recordings and books and everything. And I first heard it again on Max Ferguson. I couldn't get the words anywhere, and I was too lazy to write them down. But I finally found them today, and I have to mention that I'm not sure where the polar bear was from, but in my version, he tends to have an Irish accent, so who knows? Les Barker's Have You Got Any News of the Iceberg? On a cold, rainy night on a Liverpool quayside in the years before the Great War, the world was in shock at the loss of Titanic. So proud had they been days before. Relatives gathered for news of their loved ones to read through the list of the dead, when into the throng came a sad-eyed polar bear, and to the clerk at the counter he said, "Have you got any news of the iceberg? My family were on it, you see. Have you got any news of the iceberg? They mean the whole world to me. My wife and my children were coming from Greenland to be by my side at the zoo. Belinda's my wife, and the eldest called Bernard, and Billy, well, he's only 2. I know on the ship there were hundreds of people, and I know the iceberg's not yours." The polar bear's eyes held the start of his teardrops. He covered his face with his paws. "Have you got any news of the iceberg? My family were on it, you see. Have you got any news of the iceberg? They mean the whole world to me. It's been over a year since I last saw my children. I left home to build a career. I've worked very hard. I'm a star in the circus. It's all been for nothing, I fear. There's my face on the poster. We're in town this week. My children were meeting me here." Everyone watched as he struggled to speak, as his paw brushed away one more tear. "Have you got any news of the iceberg? My family were on it, you see. Have you got any news of the iceberg? They mean the whole world to me." By now, all the people had gathered beside him. His grief was one they could share. The people around him in silence and sadness listened to the sad polar bear. "I wanted my children to see me performing, and Belinda, she would have been so proud." At last, lost for words, and his tear flowing freely, the question was asked by the crowd. "Have you got any news of the iceberg? My family were on it, you see. Have you got any news of the iceberg? They mean the whole world to me."